My name is Latasha Holloway, and I'm running for future mayor of Virginia Beach. I'm a community activist, disability advocate, and mother of four precious children with unique needs. I've dedicated my life to serving this community by volunteering for the underserved.
I'm just saying, I do like Virginia Beach, but it's definitely not a place if they're gonna continue to gentrify and pushing poor people out. Like, my rent keeps going up. It's almost over $1,000 now. I'm not the richest person in the world. I grew up in this city as a child. I'd like to stay here, but what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a city where you have wealthier people living here. And, their perception on people of color. They don't think they can be wealthy, which is ridiculous because anyone could be wealthy depending on their circumstances or whatever. But the city of Virginia Beach doesn't care. They care about their image. The fact so much that even when it comes to racial issues, they just bury them underneath the ground, It's like they won't acknowledge them. We could make the city perfect. I mean, we've gotten COVID relief that the city still hasn't spent on rent relief. It's very upsetting to me, and I don't know where we're going with this.
So why should someone watching this support Latasha Holloway?
You should support Latasha Holloway because she's going to bring all people to the table. Latasha never forgets someone, ever. Poor, person of color, mental disability, physical disability. Latasha, I've known her for years. Matthew's known her too. She just wants to make the city better for everyone. The fact that, one Christmas I didn't have anything to buy my daughter. Latasha came in. Sorry. She's a good person. She's never not done what she said she was going to do. So, it's very hard to find someone who's genuine. You've got politicians that are they said they're going to help you, they said they're going to fix problems. All they need is your vote. And then you give them the vote and nothing happens different. Sorry. Try to be a jovial person, but this is the person anyone should be voting for, really. Because I've seen it in action. She really can't leave anyone behind. If someone literally went home today, Latasha would bring them into her house. She would be there for them. I've talked to many. I've worked in politics before. I've talked to many of our city council members, school board. None of them really didn't understand. One of the school members, I'm not going to list the name, but years ago I brought up, we're going into COVID, and some of the poor families can't afford to put their children into virtual school because they can't afford the internet. Some only have phones, right? How are they going to do their homework? They're like, well, don't worry about that because they can go to the library. The library's closed down. Eventually, after a couple of talks and getting around the issue, they finally came out a year later after the original COVID pandemic with these hot spots to actively advertise that poor families can get. To me, that's too late because we've been having poverty prior to COVID, So, if Latasha was there, that would be an issue right there in front. She wants people to succeed. She don't care, what income or what color your skin is or, what disability you have. She would make sure that you got everything you need. And I haven't seen that with the city council. You have members dropping off, getting better opportunities, while you have people still here in the city that are kind of suffering. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's why I would support Latasha, but I do know her personally. She don't let anyone down.
She's not in bed with developers, and she helped get the whole system. Well, the whole system's in the process of being restructured because of Latasha, and the system was fundamentally flawed. So, I mean, you can't just dilute the minority vote that way, and changing that's very important.
I have been working in healthcare for over 15 years now. Not just in the healthcare field, the mental health field is where I specialize. In fact, I like to say that my community service is really what I stand for. I have acted as a community activist and a disability advocate for over 15 years. So I hope that that's what I can bring to the position as future mayor of the city of Virginia Beach. The passion and the skill needed in our community to educate, I'm sorry, I'm drawing blanks.
So is Trashmore located within Virginia Beach?
Mount Trashmore?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Mount Trashmore is located in the city of Virginia Beach.
Okay. And you used to live off of Mount Trashmore at one point in your life?
Yes. In fact, my family owned our ancestral land is located across the street from Mount Trashmore.
Okay. I'm sorry. If you answer questions, give me like a full sentence every time, so that like, yes, actually, you used to live in near Mount Trashmore. Actually, yes, we did. We lived in Mount Trashmore for
Okay.
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 My last one.
My family's ancestral land is located across the street from Mount Trashmore. So yes, my family did live across the street from Mount Trashmore in the city of Virginia Beach. And unfortunately, I have experienced the city misappropriating its power through the use of eminent domain, as my ancestral land was taken under eminent domain. So that is my family history. That is my earliest memory, is having to leave the home that my grandfather built with his hands.
My earliest memory is having to leave the home.
Yes, in fact, my earliest memories are that we had to leave our ancestral home that my grandfather built with his hands, that was located across the street from Mount Trashmore.
And what about the healthcare profession do you like? Do you actually, what draws you to the healthcare profession?
I am a nurturer by nature. I am a provider. I am resourceful. And what I love about the healthcare field is that you get to be a problem solver. I loved problem solving for individuals who were at risk of homelessness, at risk of being institutionalized. So I thrived in that arena, in solving problems for others. And that's what I hope to bring as future mayor of the city of Virginia Beach, just resourceful, thoughtful, problem-solving skills that I think that we have lacked in our leadership currently in the city.
And in terms of your historical case, could you give me a little bit more information about how that came about?
I sure can. I've had the misfortune of learning that my children, who were kindergarten and first grade, so they were 5 and 6 respectively, I learned that they had been being mistreated in school. As a generalized method of treating my children, they were not being educated. They were being locked in seclusion. They were being placed in restraints. And their only reason for them being treated that way, being mistreated, was that they had special needs. And so when I learned about the mistreatment of my children, I immediately went to the leaders in the community. I went to the school boards. I went to the council members.
I went to, the pastors of the city, and I asked them, what can we do about this? How can, help me, please? And unbeknownst to me, those leaders knew something that I did not know. They knew that my vote didn't matter anyway. They knew that I had no voice. And so when I approached these leaders in my community, their response was to ignore me. I've never felt so alone and abandoned as the time that I was searching for leadership in the city of Virginia Beach to help my children. I learned that because of the voting system, it's an apartheid voting system that prohibits the ability for communities of color or poor communities or just individuals that would like to seek leadership roles in our city in general. It prohibited them from obtaining any position of leadership in our city. And as a result, we had individuals on our council that had been on council for well over 30 years. Our city was not progressively moving in the direction of equality for our citizens, and children like my children, my little babies, were being mistreated. Children like my little babies were being mistreated in schools. So what I had to do, I had to be the champion that I wish had shown up for my children.
Why didn't you pay for this beat?